paper discussions etc which are going on, and everyone who has appeared for the examination, they are having this kind of anxiety that how well did they perform or how the cutoff will go etc. But the thing is, right now this is not all these things which we have to go through all these things. But the thing is, you just have to have an idea that how was the paper, how was the pattern of the paper, how it was different from the previous year. So we'll be talking about that, and afterwards I'll we'll talk about a little more about the cutoff etc. But then ultimately, if you have appeared for the examinations, your focus right now should be to, you can say, prepare for the CSAT and not worry about all these things. You should have this clarity inside your mind that whatever has happened happened. Now you have to go and appear for the CSAT, because ultimately now CSAT will be a deciding factor considering the paper the way it was. So CSAT will have big say when we are talking about the cutoff etc. So let's discuss what has happened in 2024's prelims GS paper. Okay. So here you can see UPSC CSE Prelims 2024 paper has happened. Now in this live session, we'll be talking about how was the question paper. First discussion will be how was the question paper, what kind of questions they have asked, and if we see was it easy, moderate, or it was hard or something like that, we will discuss that. Then we'll go to the pattern. We will see how it was different from 2023's examination, or you can say before that 2022. We have witnessed that in 2022 and 2023 we have seen that there were certain changes, certain surprise factors were there. So that was the case in 22 and 23. When we are talking about 2024, certainly we can say that it was not as surprising as the previous ones. Okay, there was this element of predictability which was there. Other than that, if we talk about UPSC's pattern, so UPSC has gone back to the normal one. So we can say discuss all those elements as well. Then how it was different from the last year, as I told you, we will see how it is different from 2023. Now the thing here is that when we see how was the paper, I would say, or the people who has appeared, they have said that this is a moderate paper, or you can say a easy to moderate paper. UPSC has touched all those aspects which they are supposed to touch. When we are talking about the predictability of the paper, this time you can say that question was quite predictable as well, or you can say paper was quite predictable as well, because there were certain things which were there in the news. When we are talking about the questions related to the CDS, when we talk about the questions related to the ethics committee, or there are certain areas of, you can say, international relations which they have already covered. So these areas were there in the newspaper, and ultimately they have asked it. Okay, because that is how UPSC is supposed to work. We know that the news, the current affairs play an important part. Okay, from the current affairs they will ask the static portion as well. Let's say if the ethics committee was in the news for some current event which has happened, but they have asked a static question on that. Okay, so ultimately there are certain backward linkages on which UPSC play. Okay, so that element was there this time. When we are talking about the focus of the question paper, this time you can say that a static was there. Okay, and when we talk about the static, there were certain areas like history. They have asked limited questions from history this time. When we are talking about the modern Indian history, it was nearly 1 or 2 questions which has been asked from them. Other than that, the more weightage was given to the ancient history over there. So that was there. When we talk about the other areas like polity and geography, so the questions were dominant from these areas. Okay, nearly 17 to 18 question has been asked from polity, 17 to 18 question has been asked from geography as well. So these were the dominant areas. So you can say that the static part was quite prominent in the paper. If you had focused on the static part, so there are chances that you must have performed nicely in the examination. So here you can say that the element of that unpredictability which was there in the last 2 years, 3 years examination, that they have played with the options. Okay, so that was you can say we have gone back to the normal, you can say, UPSC standards which was there before 2021, you can say. Okay, so that was there. We will see what kind of questions they have asked in 2023 and what kind of questions they have asked in the 2024 as well. When we talk about the pattern, as I told you, we have gone back to the normal one. The questions that was there related to the only 1, only 2, only 3, only all of the above, such kind of questions are limited this time. Okay, when we are talking about the 2023's paper, there were nearly 44 to 45 questions which were there, which was on the pattern that only 1 is true, only 2 is true. So basically you had to have the idea about the whole statements, all the statements then only you can attempt such questions. So in 2023 that kind of questions were nearly 44, 45, but in this examination, in 2024's examination, you will see that there are nearly 17 to 18 questions which were from that particular pattern, or I would say that nearly 15 questions was from that particular pattern. So they have dropped it to 1/3 of them. Okay. Other than that, the previous pattern that wherein they have actually gone for the elimination, etc. So this time I could say that the elimination can work in this paper, because there were certain questions which we will see they have actually gone for the eliminations. Okay. Then how it was different from the last year, as I told you, they have come out of that unpredictability, they have come out of that surprising element which was there. Okay. So I would say that this paper overall, if we see, this paper was easy to moderate. And when we talk about the sections like polity, geography, history, these were static portions and they were quite you can say moderately easy when we are talking about the question paper. Then comes the subjects like economy, science and tech. So obviously these questions were little bit more, you can say, on the harder part, but the thing is, if you have your basics strongs, then you can say economy's questions were moderate. Okay. And science and tech, mostly these questions were related to your terminologies which has been in the news. Okay. So when we are talking about our newspaper analysis, there are many questions which has come from that. Then there was this news on map. They have asked you the map based questions. There were many questions which are related to IR. They have projected it on the maps. Okay. They have asked about the northern sea. They have asked about the areas bounding that particular area. Then there are certain questions which you can directly solve if you have a strong basis of your you can say maps. Okay. Other than that, in geography they have asked about Red Sea. Okay. So when we are talking about the Red Sea's questions was predictable, because Red Sea has been in news for quite long now. Okay. Because of the Israel Hamas, that Houthis rebel issue, etc. So this sea route has been in news, so that was quite prominent for us to work on that question. Other than that, when we are talking about the Red Sea, recently there was these floods which were there over there. So that is why they have asked it from the climatology. Okay. So this you can say this paper was quite you can say predictable. Okay. So in summing up, I can say that the elimination technique is back. Then we can say that surprising element that was there in the previous papers, that was less in this particular time. It was kind of predictable. We can say that static was the area of focus in this time. Polity was easy. You can say geography was moderate. And when we are talking about the economy, that was on the harder side. But the thing is, again, if you have the basics strong, that was doable. Map based questions were there. Okay. Current affairs was there moderately. These questions were not very tough this time. Okay. Now coming to the next part, that is how many questions has been asked from various sections. So when we are talking about the previous you can say from 2017, 18, all these papers, so we can say that polity, they have nearly asked you questions nearly 15 to 20 and 21. These kind of trends has been there. You can say 16, 13, 22, 16, 19, 21, 16, 13. So you can say there was this 15 to 20 questions which could have been expected. Okay. So when we are talking about polity this time, sorry, when we are talking about the history, so sorry for that. So in history there were this you can say pattern that they have been asking 15 to 20 questions, but this time they have asked only 8 questions. Okay. And when we are talking about the modern history, which has used to be the area of focus when we are talking about UPSC, this time they have asked very limited questions from them. Okay. Then coming to the polity, here you can say 22, 13, 15, 18, 17, 12, 14. So you can say here 15 to 20 questions has been asked from polity as well in the previous you can say question papers. This time also they have asked nearly 18 questions. So that pattern stays. So polity still has a huge weightage when we are talking about the UPSC's prelims paper. Then comes geography. Here you can say 8, 9, 8, 13, 12, 15, 20. So in last few years, you can say that the pattern is saying that they are focusing more on geography. This time also they have focused on geography. They have asked nearly 18 questions from the geography. Okay. So ultimately we can say that geography becomes important for your examination, because obviously they are conducting exam for your civil services as well as the forest services. Okay. So when we are talking about the forest services, the subjects like geography, environment, ecology, these questions or these subjects becomes important. So we will see that there is a quite decent weightage of geography and environment. Okay. Coming to the next part, here in the environment, here you can say 16, 17, 10, 19, 14, 17, 20, 10, such kind of question has been asked. And this time also they have asked 13 questions from environment and ecology as well. Okay. So when we are talking about the environment, ecology, biodiversity, they have asked 13 questions, so which was expected again. Then coming to the Indian economy part, 15, 29, 22, 20, 21, 15, 18, 18. Now they are asking so much question from the economy because the economy is the most dynamic subject if we say current affairs related. So mostly these questions are attached with the current affairs, and they have asked nearly 14 questions this time from the economy. Okay. Then when we are talking about the general science over here, so here you can see 7, 3, 14, 15, 12. So nearly 10 to 15 question has been asked in the previous years. When we are talking about the science and technology, this time also they have asked 10 question from here. When we are talking about the other questions, current affairs and the miscellaneous part, they have asked nearly 19 question from them, and that comes to the total of 100 questions over here. So again, here I can say that the area of geography and polity, that was quite prominent. And then if we look at the other next part, that is economy, they have asked 14 questions. So that was also prominent because of the current affairs, etc. Okay, but the thing is, they have said that the part of economy was quite difficult, because obviously it was related to current affairs. Okay, so that is about the whole you can say breakup of the paper. When we see here, you can say 8 question has been asked from the history. History has been given a lesser weightage this time. Then more weightage has been given to the polity, geography, economy, environment, etc. Okay, so that is about the overall, you can say how many questions has been asked from which sections and which subject they have asked how many questions. Okay, so that is about it. Now moving further to the next part, to the question paper, how the question paper was. Okay, in 2023, if we see, this was the surprising element. Okay, we have this statement based question for in the UPSC for a long time, but the thing is, when we see at the option, they have played with the options over here in 2021, 2022 and 2023. This element was there. Okay, and increasingly they have increased in the 2023 paper. You will see such question has been asked, nearly 45 questions has been asked in such pattern. Okay, so if you know the statement, then only you can actually go for the you can say marking the right answer, because all the 3 statements you should have an idea about that. Okay, so that is why it was said that the elimination is gone from UPSC. Okay, so that was the you can say the pattern which was suggesting, or you can say people has started to think that UPSC has kicked away the elimination. Okay, and that was quite visible in the last 3 years. But now when we are talking about this paper, we will see the question paper, we will say that that elimination technique was back again. Okay, other than that, here was these kind of questions were also there in 2023, that was related to statement 1 and statement 2, and whether these are the right explanation or not. In such questions, if you know both the statement and if they are having a reasonable explanation, then only you should know. Otherwise, if you can eliminate one statement from that, then only you can arrive at the answer. Okay, so that was also a new thing which UPSC has tried. In this time also, they have gone for such questions. We will see. Then these are the normal pattern A, B, C, D. When we are talking about the single choice, multiple choice questions wherein there is one answer. Then again, these were there, only 1, only 2, only 3, only 4. Okay. Now here you can see they have asked about mushroom. They have asked about, you can say, jackfruit, mahua, teak. Okay, so they are asking you from the plant kingdom. And here you can see, which of the following makes a tool with a stick to scrape insects from the hole in a tree or a log of wood. So basically they are asking from the animal behavior, or you can say from the animal kingdom. Now these are based on the normal observations. If you know that, they have said that which of the following can scrape, or you can say make a tool from the sticks. Now if you are making a tool from the stick, then your hands must be well developed. Okay, so when we are talking about the species which is close to humans, which has the well developed fingers and thumb, then only they can make a tool. Okay, so that is why this orangutan was the answer. Now you don't have to go through all other you can say options as well, like fishing cat. Fishing cat cannot go for that. When we are talking about the sloth bear has paws and not the fingers. Okay, so that was certain things which has been asked by UPSC in the previous pattern, and in this year's examination also they have gone for similar questions. Okay, so basically they are asking you from the environments and ecology, wherein they are focusing on the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, because these are the factors which can be very relevant to the Indian Forest Service. Okay, so that is there, which trend has been followed this time as well. Now moving further, here you can see when we are talking about the current affairs, economy and the science and tech, where you will find out they have asked you about the terminologies. Okay, so in the science and tech etc., they have asked about this particular method, aerial metagonomics. So this is also a term which was there in the economy. Other than that, there is this microsatellite DNA. Now they are asking these terminologies. same pattern has been used in this paper as well. Okay, so these were certain things from the 2023 that there were options which has been changed. Now when we are talking about the options wala play, that is also there in 2024 paper. When we are talking about the economy and science and tech, the same pattern follows, that they have gone for the terminology based questions as well. Okay, and then there was these things which reasons were in news, and then what were the reasons related to the that particular event which are happening. So basically they are asking you from the IR. This time also they have gone and focused on the IR as well. They have asked many questions, and from that particular part they have asked maps based questions as well. Okay, so that pattern stays. Now coming to the 2024 paper, here you can see it was said that paper was easy to moderate. Now I'll tell you why it was easy to moderate. Here you can say they have asked you a constitutional amendment act, 71st constitutional amendment act. Now they have said that Konkani, Manipuri, Nepali and Maithili. Now they have asked you that in which, or you can say which of the language were present when we are talking about the 71st amendment act, and they were given the, you can say, status in the schedule 8. Okay, so now if you know, in 1992 3 languages were given, and 3 languages are Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali. Maithili was given later in 2004. So if you have this distinction that in 1992 they have given these 3, and later on other 4 languages has been added in 2004. So basically you can say that Maithili was not there. So you can eliminate it. 1, 2 and 3 would be your right answer. So that was the elimination which is working over here. Okay. Other than that, if we see this particular question here, that was static based question or very easy question, Bharatiya Jan Sangh, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Then there are certain prominent personalities like C. Rajagopalachari. You are supposed to know about his party. Okay, so when we are talking about the Socialist Party, they have asked about C. Rajagopalachari, which is not correct, because when we are talking about the Rajagopalachari, his party was Swatantra Party. Okay, so ultimately from this particular personality, you know that this is an important personality. They might ask you about it, so you should know which party he has actually gone for. So you can say that 2 and 4 is incorrect here. Okay, now you can go for the 50-50 option over here. If you don't have any idea about the Jagjeevan Ram's party, you are supposed to have it. But again, if you don't have it, then now either you will go for only 1 or only 2. You will not go for 3 and 4. So elimination, again, it was working over here. Then coming to the CDS part here, Chief of Defence Staff, they have asked you this question, and they were supposed to ask you this question because CDS was in news. Okay. Other than that also, we were going for the integrated theatre commands, etc. Okay, and CDS, under CDS that commands will be. So that was the question which was expected. Again, so here I can say that eliminations were working. Questions was kind of predictable. Here you can see ethics committee. You must have heard about this Moitra case. Okay, so that was there. Because of this, ethics committee was in news. We have discussed that in the news analysis part. Okay, so the thing is, that was a question which was bound to be asked. Okay, so that you can say that there was this predictability in the examination. Then exercise Mitra Shakti. Now here you can say elimination can work. This was a joint military exercise between India and Bangladesh. Now this is a prominent exercise. You are supposed to know that it is between India and Sri Lanka. Okay, so obviously this is incorrect. If you eliminate this part, you can directly arrive at the answer, because 1 is not true. So these 3 are eliminated. Option D is your right answer. So again, elimination was working over here. This question is directly from the newspaper. There was this new book, that Why Bharat Matters. Okay, so that book was based on your, you can say they have taken this inspiration from Ramayana. And this book, the India Way, that was based on Mahabharata. Now Ramayana and Mahabharata are 2 prominent, you can say, texts when we are talking about the religious texts. They are there when we are talking about the Hinduism. And these 2 texts, or these 2 books, the India Way and the Why Bharat Matters, these has been written by our, you can say, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and I have discussed that in the news analysis, and they have directly asked this question. Option D was the right answer over here. Okay, so here you can say that predictability was there, and when we are talking about these statements, these statement based questions were there. Okay, again, when we are talking about these you can say areas here, they have came back to the pattern where they used to ask this 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 4 only. Okay, so that was there. Most of the questions were based on this particular pattern this time. Okay, then coming to this part, they have asked you the statement based questions. Okay, the atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation than by the terrestrial radiations. Okay, so this is incorrect. Then the second one is correct. So if you have found out that one statement is incorrect, okay, so you can directly go for the answer over here, that D is incorrect and the second one is correct. Okay, because we know that when we are talking about the heating of the earth, mostly it is heated by the long wave radiations which are radiated by earth itself, okay, and which are getting trapped inside the earth's atmosphere because of the, you can say, global warming or the greenhouse gas effect, okay. So here you can say carbon dioxide and the other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are good absorbers of the long wave radiations because they absorb it, and that is why these radiations cannot go out of the atmosphere, okay. So these were the kind of questions which has been asked, but in a very limited you can say number of questions has been asked from this particular thing. But again, here coming to this part, again 1 and 2, 2 and 3, which this is the older pattern. They have asked you about the birds. Here you can say cicada, frog hopper and pond stakers. These are the some species which has been in news. Again, animal and the plant kingdom they are asking over here. Here you can say lions do not have a particular breeding season. Again, they are asking because they have asked about the elephants earlier, gestation period they have asked. So ultimately you can say that they are asking you about the animal and the plant behaviors, etc. Again, here you can say figs, mahuwa has been asked earlier as well, sandalwood, silk, cotton. So they have come back to the part where they used to ask question from the PYQs. They used to ask question from a very high yielding area, or there was this concept that UPSC has, when we are talking about the syllabus, UPSC has a core syllabus and a peripheral, which we divided when we are talking about the main test, etc. Or so we say that there is a core. That core is basically when we are talking about polity. So that core is parliament. Now parliament, they have asked you the ethics committee. Okay, that core is there, and then there are peripheral areas. So our focus should be on the core. And these are the part which are high yielding areas which UPSC is asking again and again, and UPSC has actually given this indication that the last 2-3 years were different. Now we have come back to the you can say older pattern, and they are basically asking you the questions from the PYQs. Okay, they are asking you the question from the newspaper, news articles. There are backward linkages which are connected to it. When you are talking about the backward linkages, I will tell you, like if there is a news, they will ask you the static part of that particular news. So that is basically a backward linkage which they usually ask for. So that is there when we are talking about the areas like you can say Buddhism, you can say money bill, organizations. There are financial instruments, speaker. All these areas has been asked. UNESCO's World Heritage Site list. Okay, these are the areas which UPSC asks again and again, and in this pattern, in this particular paper, we have witnessed that that was the case. Okay, then coming to the next part here. Again, this is a very simple question from the geography. Okay, very basic from NCERT. You can say they are saying that which of the following latitudes experience sunlight more than 12 hours. So simple, you know that this is our earth, it is having an inclination. Okay, and when we are talking about this inclination, that is your equator, that is your tropic of Cancer, and this is tropic of Capricorn. Now we are talking about the sun rays. So since this is tilted this side, so we can say that these areas are having more daylight or sunlight at a particular day. So we can say that in this particular area the sunlight will be experienced more than 12 hours. Okay, so that is basically you can say tropic of Cancer and the northern pole. Okay, so such things they have asked, very simple things, and these are the basics. This is the static part. As I told you, they have focused on the static. Other than that, here they have used the word metaverse, etc. Metaverse, cryptography, big data analytics. These are the terminologies which has been asked by UPSC, and this is what I was saying, that in the economics and the, you can say when we are talking about the science and tech, they have focused on the terminologies which has been in the news. Again, here you can see the pump storage hydropower, that was a technology. Okay, again there is this membrane bioreactors. This is a terminology from the science and tech. Again, here you can see the collateral borrowing and the lending obligations. This is the term from the economics. So this is how I can say that UPSC has actually come back to the original you can say their own pattern, wherein they are asking you from the core areas, that is you have to focus on these core areas. Okay, elimination is working now. Static portion has been focused again and again in this particular paper. Now moving further, here you can see they have asked you about C. Rajagopalachari, B. R. Ambedkar, Krishnamachari and Sachindra Sinha. You know that when we are talking about the Constituent Assembly and the you can say provisional president which was made before Dr. Rajendra Prasad, this was very simple question. That is why we can say that the paper was easy to moderate. Okay, again UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. This is expected question because UPSC has focused always on the Ramsar sites, UNESCO's sites, intangible, tangible sites, and then there are rivers. There are you can say some when we are talking about the various deserts, etc. So these are the favorite part of UPSC. They are asking you again and again. Okay, again money bill. This question was quite similar, quite easy as well. Article 109. Generally, we have this perception that money bill is related to Article 1010. Okay, So many people might have gone for the making it incorrect, but the thing is article 109 is just before 110. So basically there are chances that they might be talking about the money bill over there. Okay, so such things can be working when we are talking about the elimination. Okay, so this is the part which was there in the question paper. So we have mostly talked about it. Now coming to the next part, before the conclusion is that it was a easy to moderate paper, it was a doable paper, but the thing is, since the question paper was easy, now more focus should be that we should not be thinking about the cutoffs, etc., but just know that this is the time you will be feeling quite anxious related to cutoff. We have seen the pattern that in the last few years the cutoff was going down. Okay, in the last year it was nearly 75 marks, and you should consider that 98, 92, 87, 88. So you can say that if you are going for 50 questions, or you can say if you are going for the 50 correct questions, then you are in the list. Okay, now I will not go into details that what kind of cutoff we are expecting this time, because that is of no use right now, because right now focus should be on how to do CSAT part. Okay, now since the paper was easy, there are high chances that the deciding factor can be CSAT. So focus on CSAT, don't just get anxious yet. Okay, so that is about the cutoff, which is dropping day by day, but the thing is this time we can say that the question paper was quite easy, so we can expect a little bit more. Okay, now here cautions before this session ends and before you are going for the CSAT. Don't just think much about this cutoff related areas, because whatever has happened. Now just go and focus on CSAT examination, because that will be the key factor in deciding your selection. Okay, because CSAT has been tough in the previous years. So right now go with a very calm mind and focus on the CSAT part. Okay, then coming to the, you can say, paper analysis, answers and explanations. So we will be coming with the explanations for you from tomorrow onwards. Okay, so just wait for that, because when we are talking about this paper, this is quite a lengthy paper. There are 100 questions which we have to go through, and we have to make sure that we provide you the most authentic answers. So that is why we are working on getting answers and explanations. So our team is working on that. We will try to come up with these explanation parts from tomorrow. Okay, so with that I would like to take your leave now, and all the best for your examination. Focus on the CSAT part, be very calm. Okay, and you have to attempt in such a way that you can cross the minimum requirement, because you have to cross that particular thing, 33% weightage, because ultimately if you can't clear CSAT, your GS, however you have performed in the GS, that will not be of any use. Okay, so go ahead, focus on your CSAT related portions. Okay, so that is about it from my side. I'll see you in the next analysis part. Till then, have a good day.